Chosen one, if you're listening to these words today, I don't believe you're here by accident because there was a prayer you whispered, a prayer so quiet that no one around you ever heard it. You didn't post it online. You didn't tell your friends. You didn't even know how to explain it. It was spoken between you and God alone. Sometimes with tears, sometimes in complete silence. Sometimes when all you could say was, Lord, please. God says, the prayer you whispered in secret has finally reached heaven. Not because he couldn't hear it before. He heard every word the moment it left your heart. But today, he wants you to know something has shifted. The answer you've been waiting for has entered a new season. Chosen one, there are prayers that change circumstances, and there are prayers that first change the person praying them. Most people only celebrate the first kind, but heaven treasures the second. Because before God changes your surroundings, he often changes your heart. You've been asking him to move mountains. While he has been quietly building the faith to climb them, you've been asking for open doors. While he has been preparing you to walk through them with wisdom, you've been asking for blessings. While he has been shaping the character needed to carry them, nothing has been wasted. Chosen one, do you remember the night you almost stopped praying? You were exhausted, disappointed, confused. You had repeated the same request so many times that you wondered if heaven had become silent. You thought, maybe God is tired of hearing this. But listen carefully. God never grows tired of hearing the voice of his children. Every whispered prayer, every tear that fell onto your pillow, every moment you looked toward heaven with hope was precious to him. The world forgets quiet prayers, and God never does. Chosen one. The enemy loves to convince believers that unanswered prayers are ignored prayers. That isn't true. There is a difference between waiting and being forgotten. Daniel prayed, but the answer did not appear immediately. Scripture tells us that from the very first day, heaven heard him. From the first day, not the 20th, not the final day, the first day. The delay wasn't because God was absent. The delay existed because battles were taking place that Daniel could not see. Perhaps the same has been happening in your life. Chosen one, some of the greatest victories are won in places invisible to human eyes. While you were worrying, heaven was working. While you were doubting, God remained faithful. While you questioned his timing, he continued arranging every detail. God doesn't panic when life becomes difficult. He already stands in tomorrow. He already knows the ending before you reach the middle. Chosen one. There is something beautiful about secret prayers. They reveal who we are when nobody is watching. It's easy to worship publicly. It's easy to speak about faith when life feels comfortable. But secret prayers, those whispered moments between your heart and God, reveal genuine trust. Those are the prayers heaven treasures, not because they're louder, but because they're sincere. God has always been moved more by honesty than by impressive words. Chosen one, perhaps you've wondered why your prayer seemed delayed. What if heaven wasn't delaying the answer, but protecting the blessing? Imagine giving a child the keys to a powerful car. The gift isn't wrong, the timing is. A loving father waits until the child is ready. God does the same. He never delays because he enjoys watching his children suffer. He waits because his love sees dangers your eyes cannot. Chosen one, you have prayed for relationships, for healing, for direction, for peace, for restoration, for financial breakthrough, for purpose, and perhaps one request has stayed in your heart longer than all the others. You've almost stopped mentioning it, not because you no longer desire it, but because you've grown afraid of disappointment. Yet even the prayers you stopped repeating remain alive before God. Nothing spoken in faith disappears. Nothing surrendered to heaven is ever forgotten. Chosen one, think about Hannah, year after year. She carried the same prayer. Others misunderstood her tears. Some judged her. Some assumed she was simply emotional. But God knew exactly what those tears meant. And when the appointed time arrived, the answer came. Not because Hannah finally convinced God, but because God's perfect timing had arrived. The same God who remembered Hannah remembers you, chosen one. The answer may not look exactly the way you imagined. Sometimes God answers prayers by changing the direction instead of the destination. You asked for one opportunity. He prepared something greater. You prayed for one relationship. He protected you until the right one could arrive. You prayed for immediate relief. He gave lasting strength instead. Never assume God's answer is smaller simply because it looks different. He often exceeds what we expect. Chosen one, while you've been waiting, God has been preparing people you've never met, places you've never visited, conversations you've never imagined, doors you don't yet know exist. One decision, one introduction, one unexpected moment can completely transform the next season of your life. Heaven specializes in sudden moments that were actually years in the making. Chosen one, the prayer you've whispered has already accomplished something remarkable. It has drawn you closer to God. Notice how different you are now. You depend on Him more than before. You seek His wisdom before making decisions. You recognize His voice more clearly. You no longer panic as quickly. You trust more deeply. Those changes are miracles too. Sometimes the first answered prayer is the person you become while waiting. Chosen one, Jesus often withdrew from crowds to pray alone, not because He needed applause, but because intimacy with the Father was more valuable than public recognition. Secret places produce public strength. The victories everyone sees are usually born in moments nobody witnessed. Never underestimate the power of private faithfulness. Heaven certainly doesn't. Chosen one, there are things you've asked God for that only He knows about. Not your family, not your closest friend, not even the people who pray with you, just you and Him. That conversation has never ended. God remembers every detail, every word, every emotion, every fear hidden behind the prayer. Nothing has slipped from His memory. Chosen one, the enemy wants you to believe that because the answer hasn't appeared, the answer isn't coming, but faith has never depended upon visible evidence. Faith believes because God is faithful, not because circumstances are easy. Your confidence rests in His character, not in your calendar. God has never broken a promise, and He won't begin with yours. Chosen one, as you prepare to enter this next chapter, pray differently, not with desperation, but with expectation, not saying, Lord, if you hear me, instead pray, Father, I know you heard me. Help me recognize your answer. That prayer changes everything because it replaces fear with trust. Chosen one, some answers arrive quietly, like peace entering your heart, like wisdom replacing confusion, like courage appearing where fear once lived. Other answers arrive suddenly, a phone call, a new opportunity, an unexpected breakthrough, a conversation that changes everything. However your answer arrives, it will arrive according to God's wisdom, and His wisdom has never failed. Chosen one, don't let discouragement silence your prayers now. You're closer than you realize. Many people stop praying right before the season changes. Don't become one of them. Continue thanking God before you see the evidence. Continue worshiping before the breakthrough. Continue trusting before the miracle. That's what chosen people do. They believe before they receive. Chosen one, tonight, before you fall asleep, whisper one more prayer. Not because God forgot the first one, but because every conversation with Him strengthens your heart. Tell Him your fears. Tell Him your hopes. Tell Him your gratitude. Speak honestly. He already knows. He has never been intimidated by your questions, never offended by your tears, never exhausted by your voice. Chosen one, there is a reason this message found you today. Heaven wants to remind you that silence never meant absence. Waiting never meant rejection. Delay never meant denial. The God who heard you in secret is still working in secret. And soon, what has been happening in heaven will begin appearing on earth. Your whispered prayer was never lost. It was never ignored. It was never forgotten. It was lovingly received, carefully guarded, and perfectly timed by the God who knows exactly when every blessing should arrive. So rest tonight with confidence. The Father who heard your quietest prayer is already preparing the moment when you'll finally understand why He asked you to wait. And when that moment comes, you'll discover that every whispered prayer, every tear, every night of faithful waiting was leading you to a blessing that only heaven could have prepared.